Do aliens have armies of their own? I think they do. It's highly likely that they do. The human race has armies of their own. Each country has their own army. Okay, they do. So it is very probable that if there are different species of aliens or extraterrestrials, different races of beings that exist off planet or even from another dimension, you can rest assured that they have an army of their own also. I think it's very, very likely that this is true. Wait one moment. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to push the record for the live stream. Just wait right there. I'll be right back. One momento. I'm going to come over here. Just got to get this live stream going so we can see it and record it. Even though we have only 3 people watching, that's okay. I'm going to record it anyhow. That's right. All right, we have 15 people watching according to my computer over there, and no comments. So that's fine and dandy. It really is fine and dandy. Yeah, 14 people watching. Whoopsie, Gina, honey. You got to get your thing going. I got to get this going. So I really do feel that there are extraterrestrial species that have their own armies. And the reason they have their own armies is to defend what is theirs. So what on earth would belong to them? Okay, what on earth would belong to them if they are to defend and or take something? What would be the interest? What would be the reason? Okay, why would they have their own armies? There has to be a reason. Even we have our own armies to defend, okay, to protect, and against other armies. Okay, we do. This may not be a popular topic. It may not. I'm trying to put this over here, you. I'm trying to get this phone stood on here, and let me tell you something. I'm being watched. I really am being watched. I'm not just saying that. But that's okay. That's all right. I know people are very interested in what I have to say because they never know what I'm going to say. It's just like a spontaneous moment is what happens, you all. So let's come on over here. Hello. Let me put this over here on the live chat. We've got 28 concurrent viewers, 6 likes. Hello there, Susan B. Honey. We ain't got very many people being allowed in that chat. We need to fix this. We need to fix the chat rate, you all. We need well, you all can't do nothing about it, but we need more people coming in here because we got to talk about these armies that these different races of beings have, okay? And there is, just like the human species, you know, they reproduce, so do the other life forms. They do. Every life form has the capability of reproducing. And soon you will have artificial intelligence be able to do that, and androids and all that stuff. They'll be able to reproduce also, you all. They will. Why do I have a globe earth when it obviously isn't? K-Dread, honey, let me talk to you. This is my YouTube channel, and if I want to put a round ball on here, regardless, it should not matter, okay? That's not the topic of whether the earth is flat or whether the earth is round, okay? I'm talking about aliens, okay? I like to use this. Just pretend that it's flat, okay? Just pretend that it's flat, okay? And then you'll be all right, okay? Just envision that like a smashed earth, boom, and then it'll be all right. It will. That's right. You can do it. I knew you could do it. I really... I needed a good laugh, so thank you. Thank you. Hello there, Deborah, honey. This is not, I don't think they want this out, you all. I really don't think they want this out, but this is the topic that I feel like I'm supposed to be talking on. It is. Let me tell you something else right here. Let me show you the screenshot before I started this video. Before I had two people waiting. Somebody's waiting before my video even goes live because they got to tune in. That's great. Yeah, I've got an audience in waiting, very prominent audience, I think so. I think I do. Yeah, so Deborah, honey, there's lots of peoples that don't get notified because we're way over the bar. We're way over the bar. We're sharing too much stuff is what's happening. We're shedding the light on too much stuff. So let's see. So I thought about this question right here. So was the Earth seeded by aliens? You may think, Gina, that is not a good thing to ask. It's not a good thing to ask. Well, it was just a question. Okay, it was just a question. You know, we have the biblical account. And I remember the biblical account, and I still do. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness fell upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So he separated the light from the day and the darkness, the sun, the moon, the darkness, and he called night. So there was like 7 days of creation. And then man was created in the image of God. Okay, man was created in the image of God. Okay, we're over here at the N5D, right here, n5d.com. 5 alien species walking among us. I just clicked into this, and I thought, you know, I'm going to just look at this. They're already here, like the Lyrians. Well, she looks like she's from the Lord of the Rings character, you all. We try to get through this really fast. We will, you all. There looks like there is something that has popped up on here, and I don't want this on here. I really don't want it on here. So let's look at this. So let's get this. So it's a widely held belief that Lyrians are the oldest ancestors, okay? They think the Lyrians were actually the first humans to form a civilization. We've got the Arcturians. There is a tribe in Africa who do elongate their necks. They do. They make their necks long. African tribe, long necks. So let's look. Okay, so they practice the art of this. And you know, there is a species, the Arcturian, appears to have long necks. Okay, so that's just now entered my mind. I love to watch documentaries. Well, when I watched TV, I love documentaries. After many eons of existence, the Arcturians have reached such an ascended state that many classify them as a 5th dimension. Okay, why is this thing still on here, and why won't it go away? It just won't go away, you all, but that's okay. So we have Arcturians, Telosians. I've never heard of them. Okay, I haven't. You all, let's look at this because I'm going to go somewhere with it. 240 pounds, 6.5 feet, 5 to 6.5 feet. Okay, well, that's interesting. Telosians, Mount Shasta. So we've heard of Mount Shasta in California. Let's go to Mount Shasta in California. Mount Shasta. Let's get an image of Mount Shasta for those of you who may not have seen Mount Shasta. It's a very beautiful place. Very, very beautiful mountain. Very sacred looking mountain. Look at this. Look like a big ship up there on the top. Look like a big cloud ship. And there's been really, look at that. So this does look like an interdimensional craft, UFO. Just literally look at that from a higher dimension circling on the top of Mount Shasta. So we have these beings who are from Mount Shasta. Okay, with tall blonde and stuff like that. Okay, let's look at this. Got talking about Admiral Byrd, the Telosians. I didn't know Admiral Byrd was describing the Telosians. I hadn't heard that terminology to classify them as the Telosians, but let's look at this, you all. So Admiral Byrd and his diaries were published after his death. He tells the secret of a North Pole mission of the home of an advanced subterranean race. Subterranean. There we go. An alien species that had been living in a few secret underground cities built. But it was our nuclear bombs that finally drew them out to the surface, Admiral Byrd wrote. our interest rightly begins after your race exploded the first atomic bomb over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. And it was at that alarming time that we sent our flying machines, the Fugorods, the Flugorods, to your surface world to investigate what your race had done. You see, we have never interfered before in your wars and barbarity. I think this is, well, okay. But we now must, for you have learned to tamper a certain power that is not for man, namely that of the atomic energy. You all, this is really, that's okay. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the powers of your world, and yet they do not heed. Now you have been chosen to be witnesses here that our world does exist. You see, our culture and our science is many thousands of years beyond our race, Admiral. So thousands of years of scientific advancements had been given to the Telosians, the ability to circumvent disease and aging. They are widely known for their longevity, and they could help us with our own, the true protectors of Earth's environment and keepers of the knowledge about our planet's past. So you have the Alpha Centaurians, the extraterrestrials from Alpha Centauri, have the power to not only destroy us, but any other aggressive alien species. So they are very, very powerful. The Alpha Centauri. So if we've got any Alpha Centaurians watching, we know that you are very powerful. Okay, you are. And nobody wants to mess with you. They really don't. But you are the most technologically advanced species in the Milky Way. So that's fine. Okay, we read about it, you all, the Alpha Centaurians. Okay, so we got the Alpha Centaurians. You got the Palladians right here, some documentations of the Palladians. Are they not showing that screen? Every time I get on here, I'm having to repress this button over and over and over. So that's okay. They come from the Pleiades, and you know the Pleiades is mentioned in the book of Job. The Pleiadians, the Pleiades, and Orion, the constellation of Orion. Okay, so look at this. So we got this. We got the grays and stuff. This is really interesting too. N5 addendum. This is really a good question. There are more alien races mocking among us, but there are 4 different blood types: A, B, AB, and O, 2 different RH values, positive or negative, in every combination of blood types and RH values. The Bible wants us to believe that we all came from Adam and Eve, but it's impossible to have 4 different blood types and 2 RH values derived from 2 people. So how did we get here? It's true. While it's true, according to the Sumerian text, that our DNA was manipulated by the Anunnaki, there is also a more probable explanation. We were seeded here from various star nations, such as the Pleiades, the Arcturians, Orion, etc. This would explain the differences in blood types, RH value, races, and even languages. Earth is basically the galactic melting pot for DNA. Now, that's a good theory. That's an interesting theory. I really never thought about it before, but really, if you think about it, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that, but we only have an Adam and an Eve. Okay, so I guess over time, you know, just like Charles Darwin with natural, what do you say, natural selection. Charles Darwin, he had a wonderful series things that they did on him. Yeah, so that's N5D had wrote that, and it got me thinking, okay, but so really, let's talk about this, about the armies. Would each race have their own army? I think they do have their own army. I think the Greys have their own army. I think the Reptilians have their own army. The Arcturians have their own armies. The Palladians have their own armies. All these have their own armies. Humans have their own armies too, you all. We all have armies. And you have to ask yourself, why do we have armies? It's to defend and to protect that which is ours, or that we are. So yeah, and then normally you battle against other armies, you all. So why would these races be on Earth or come to Earth if there was nothing here for them to come to Earth for? Really, why would they? Okay, why would you? It's just like It's like the Lord of the Rings. How did they get those 5 armies? Where did all those 5 armies come from? Who created all those 5 armies on the Lord of the Rings? Because they're all different. They really are. The battle of 5 armies. So it's a really interesting question to ask. It really is. And I like reading the beginning of Genesis and stuff. It's interesting. I haven't read all the Bible or the Old Testament or stuff. I haven't, and I've heard it all my life about that. And it's okay. It is, because there's many things out there, you all. We need to form a foundation somewhere. We really do. But yeah, there's something more to this picture. And where did the Anunnaki come from? Okay, where did the Anunnaki come from? Let's ask ourselves this. Anunnaki, where did they come from? And did they ever have species on the earth? Did they ever have offspring? Did they? And if so, did their offspring die out, or did some of them survive? Did they? And then all these other beings too, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Greys. And why is there accounts of alien abductions, people being abducted by small gray aliens at times, and insectoids? Okay, insectoids. Okay, they exist too. They got species. Why that too? They got their own armies too, you all. The thing is, there's so many different races of beings, and we have so many different animals on Earth also. We have different types of fish, different types of insects, different types of birds. They're all not the same. Different types of reptiles, all of it, everything, all different types of species, even the plants, the flowers, the trees, all of it. Different types of species. Okay. And that was a good question. Okay, it is a good question. Where did the life come from? Look, there are 218 races of people visiting Earth, and they are our neighbors around us. They come from others in our other galaxies, most of our own arm, Orion, and neighboring worlds. All of this. Let me click out of it, you all. So that's what I just want to know. They have their own armies. The Anunnaki's got their own armies. Okay, they do. And if where did the Anunnaki go? Where did they go? Do you think the Anunnaki? You think they disappeared and they'll never come back ever again? Do you think they'll never come back? They had their armies. Okay, they did. They're of another realm, higher dimension, another world, another time. There's just so much to think about. So much to think about, you all. But that's my main question. The armies. These other beings, they got their own armies. They do. We got our own armies. They got their own armies. And armies battle other armies to gain ground or something like that. They are very much here. Yeah, they are very much here. So could there possibly be, if we have all those different blood types, did it only come from Adam and Eve, or was there more to the story? Is there more to the story? Is there to the biblical account, the creation story, that would account for the different types? Okay, is there? That's what I'm wondering. There's all kinds of movies about aliens. And if they're, let's hypothetically say, so if the gray aliens, let me put this to me, if the gray aliens, let me scoot you over here. If the alien grays or the reptilians abducted people, okay, and they took them on their ships, and they took them from their beds at night, okay, and they took their ovum, if they took their stuff and they created hybrids, what's that mean? Really? Are they creating their own race too? Are they? Do they got armies that they have created too? Yeah, there's talk of people being abducted, okay? And it's real, and they even have like some don't get treated very nice either, and they got body marks on them, marks on their body from the abductions. And some have they don't have a bad experience, but some do have a bad experience because they've been taken in the middle of the night, and or they big old beam of light comes, and then they got all this missing time and they don't know what's happened, but they got these vivid memories of being on some kind of a ship and seeing people. I remember one time, even me in my dream state, at least I think it was a dream state, I had to sit in this chair, this medical chair. I was sitting in the medical chair, and this man in a lab coat or something walked up to me, and he was just checking me out and making sure I was okay. Then he left the room. And then came a woman, and she had a lab coat. She stuck this great big needle. Stuck the great big needle straight down my back is what she did. Straight down my back. That needle was about that long. And I felt it. I thought, what is she doing? She stuck it straight down my back while I sat in that chair. And then that's all I remember from it. Okay. And other times I remember a great big needle being inserted in my abdomen, and they were digging around in there for something. They were looking for something, and they pulled something out. And I remember that in my dream. If it was a dream, I woke up immediately. This was when I first started on this journey right here, you all, it was. I woke up immediately and I went into the bathroom. I thought, is there marks on my stomach? Okay, that's how real it was. I went in there to see if there was any sign that something had been removed from my body. Okay, I didn't see any, but I immediately got up. Okay, I did. And ever since I was little, I've had certain things happening too. And just like you all, these abductions are real. Okay, they are. And as far as you could have, like this one person I spoke with, they took his sperm, the insectoid. His name is Daryl, and he met the insectoid queen. Is like a queen. I forget what he called her, but she protects him. This may sound way out there, you all, but I'm just telling you, protects her, or she protects him. But she took him on her craft, her ship, and they went into the ocean with the queen of this race of beings. They went into the ocean, if I remember. They came out, and she took him somewhere else. And he saw these egg-like things, okay, these egg-like things, and it was some of his offspring mixed with theirs, okay, it was. I just now had a deja vu saying that, you all, I did. Me sitting here talking about that and looking at myself in here, I just had a deja vu that this just happened before. So... there's many people having accounts. I remember laying on a metal table. Okay, I did in the birthing position when I was younger. Okay, and I woke up in the birthing position right in when I started in like 13 years of age. Okay, I woke up just like that. So there's something to this. And somebody told me, Gina, did you know that they were using you as a breeder? I heard that. I heard that when I started this journey from a psychic. That's what she told me. She goes, Gina, they did. Because they do have a breeding program. They do, you all. You know that they signed an agreement. Some president signed an agreement, as the story goes, to allow them to do that in exchange for technology or something. I don't know the whole story, you all. But I've had missing time. I've had like 4.5 hours of missing time when I was pregnant with my daughter on Highway 101 in California. I lived in Monterey Peninsula. I lived on the Monterey Peninsula, and all I remember is coming back from visiting my family, and I was going on Highway 101, which curves around the mountain, and I think I got lost or something. The last thing I remember, I saw this great big light. It was a humongous light coming straight at me in my vehicle. That's all I remembered. And I thought I swerved. I thought I'm going to fall off the edge of this mountain. And then the next thing I knew, I was home at our apartment in Monterey. My husband said, "Where you been, Gina? Your mother's been worried." I said, "Well, I got lost." He said, "For 4.5 hours? You should have been home 4.5 hours ago, Gina." I said, "Well, I got lost on Highway 101. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened." And I've seen the Men in Black ever since I was little. Okay, very, very little. I've had the UFOs up in the sky with those 4 or 3 lights at the school playground. So everybody's had it, you all. This ain't no joke. These aliens, these extraterrestrial, these beings, different races of beings, they exist. And some people have had bad experiences with them. They have. And some people have had good experiences with them. Some people have communication with them. Okay, they do. There are some people astral travel. They say they astral travel. And they go to different places. And, you know, we got this space program. Why do we have a space program? Why do we? Why do we have the Men in Black? Why do they make movies about the Men in Black and then they erase your memory so you don't remember anything? That's like when you have the time that's missing. You don't remember what happened during that time because your memory got erased, okay? It got totally erased. So, yeah, they are the Watchers. Okay, I'm not looking at the comments. I probably should, but then I get distracted and I can't think straight. So, let me think about something else. So, the Watchers. What? Now I've already forgot what I was going to say. Okay, I know what I was going to say. When I first started this back in June of 2018, when I first started getting the ships and stuff and started taking the pictures, every night I would enter my dream state and I would be on a ship with great big windows, massive windows, and I would see things out there in the window. I'd see other ships, and I was taking pictures all night long. It's like the same pictures over and over. This happened night after night after night, and I would wake up so exhausted. I would look in the mirror, and I'd have big dark circles under my eyes. I felt like I'd been awake all night long. This happened for around 2 solid weeks. Every single night. Now this may sound strange, but this is my account. I was on a ship with massive, massive windows. There was no break in the windows. I mean, they were all the way across, up in space. And then here I am. I'm still here, you all. And I'm no longer taking the pictures of the ships and sharing them 3 times a day like I was for around 1.5 to 2 years nonstop. But I got a lot of pictures. I did. So they got their armies too, okay? They got their armies too. Other races of beings have their own armies, and they will protect what is theirs, okay? They will. Just like we will protect what is ours. No matter where you live in any part of the world, you have armies that protect your sovereignty and your people, okay? You do. And there's nothing wrong with talking about it. It's a normal part of life, okay? It's a fact. And armies have certain amounts of craft in them, all of that kind of certain amount of beings in them, numbers of troops. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to say. Troops. They all have certain numbers of troops. You know, if you go to the book of Revelation, it's like, I counted the number of the mounted troops. What did they say? It was 200, was it 200 million? 200,000? I heard their number. It was an astronomical amount in that prophecy in that book of these mounted troops that came in the future. Okay, it is. Let me see, the mounted troops. I want to find out that number because they had tails like scorpions. I think they did. Mounted troops. I want to find it out. Mounted troops. Because they could very well be talking about an alien species. Okay, we were right, you all. It was 200 million mounted troops. Okay, that's what it was. And the four angels, so we can say these angelic beings prepared for this hour and day and month and year, these troops were released to kill a third of mankind, and the number of the mounted troops was 200 million. I heard their numbers. The horses and the riders in my vision looked like this. The riders had breastplates, the colors of fire, sapphire, and sulfur. The heads of the horses, let me see what the heads of the horses look like, you all. The heads of the horses were like that of lions, and out of their mouth proceeded fire, smoke, and sulfur coming out of their mouth. I want to see because there's more to this. Can I see the rest of that coming out of their mouth? They had the power. Oh, in their tails were like snakes. They had snake tails. And they had the heads with which to inflict harm. Okay, snake heads. So if you had tails that look like a snake, that's kind of like a hydra-like thing. A hydra tail like a snake. A hydra tail like a snake. Oh, could you imagine a being that looked like that? They had a head like a lion or something, and then they had tails like that, like a hydra with a mouth. And I wouldn't want to see anything like this, you all. I wouldn't. Sporian moths that look like three-headed snakes. Look at this. Magical creatures, mythical creatures. You know that they probably existed. Well, what if that is, I don't want to look at no more snakes. I really don't. When I grew up, I had this neighbor. We go to the elementary school when I was around 5 or 6 years old, and in the springtime, he went to the telephone pole in the schoolyard by the school, and the grass was tall, and the snake had babies, these little garter snakes. Probably around 13 babies or something. He took his cowboy boot off and he put the snakes in his cowboy boot and he played with them, and then he took them home, and he had this place where he had snakes and he put them in there. But I thought it was, why are you letting those snakes crawl around in your cowboy boot? And we were little kids. We really were. I know this don't have nothing to do with that, but yeah. So they have armies. You see there in that. And that seems like a very powerful army, you all. Sound like an interdimensional army. Yeah. Gina, you don't want to see anything, but today's human species keeps the monsters like the predator and the alien alive. Oh, I'm just now looking at this. Let's see the alien and predator. I tell you what, you all, these are very scary beings. They are, you all. So could you imagine an army of beings like this? If these were a real species, you all. Now let's think about this. If this was a real species and they were an army of species, they would have a lot of them, and they would be very ominous. Extremely, look at their tails, you all. That is not good at all. I don't like it. Okay, you guys see, look at this. Why would they do this? See, we got troops. These are humans, and yet these are two different species also. So this is really scary. It is, you all. Look at this one. You may say, Gina, this is all science fiction. Well, that biblical reference sounds really kind of scary too, with beings in it, you all. But my point is, let me get back to my point. I got to get back on topic. Do aliens have armies of their own? Yes, they do. We have armies of our own too, and some say that we are the aliens, that the humans are the aliens on Earth. And if there are aliens underneath the Earth, if there are other beings underneath the Earth, they too have armies. If there are beings inside the ocean, living in the oceans, they too have armies. If they have a mother ship, they have an army. Okay, they got other ships. Okay, that's how they get around. They don't drive their cars. They fly their saucers. They fly their ships. That's how they get around. That is their army. Okay, that's how they travel. And if they're, yeah, that's all I want to say, you all. That's it. That's it. So it's we need to start thinking about armies. These other different races of beings, they have their armies, and they will use them to protect that they want to protect, and those that are theirs. They will use them. Okay, they will. Otherwise, you don't have no army if you don't have a use for it. Okay, we wouldn't have one if we didn't have a use for it. You all wouldn't have one if you didn't have a use for it. Do I like war? I am against it. I don't like war at all because it destroys lives. It really does. It's sad. Lives get destroyed. And I know sometimes, it's inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable. I don't have to like it, but it is inevitable at times. Okay, it is. And yeah. Spiritual warfare, that's real. I like spiritual warfare? No, I don't like it. But I will engage in it. I will. Because I don't like somebody battling. I don't want another spirit battling against my spirit. I don't. But that's okay, you all. I'm going to go because my words are done. But yeah, think about that. They have different beings. There's different species on the earth. And there's a theory that the earth was seeded by different aliens. And we've got the biblical account. And what on earth is that? I don't know what that is. I would not want to see that walking on earth. I wouldn't. This is okay, I guess. Right here, the light ones. There's the ancient ones, light beings and stuff. There is. So I am going to go. I am. Let me come over here, you all. I'm not even going to look at the live. I'm sorry I'm not looking at your comments because I was trying to concentrate. But I'm going to go. So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for all your comments. And thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and your knowledge and your information. It's good. And it's really good to connect. It is. From people from all over the world. I love connecting. I really do. And I like seeing you all being able to talk with people, even though you may not live in the area that they live in. It's nice to communicate. It really is. It's like a family. It is. Have a wonderful evening, you all. Good night.